Imagine walking into a room and sensing the shift in energy, not because anyone said a word, but because of you. The air feels thicker, eyes glance, then quickly look away. Conversations falter for a split second, and deep down, you know. Something about your presence unsettles others, but not out of malice, because you carry a force, an unseen intensity. You are not broken. You are simply powerful in a world that fears depth. Have you ever wondered why people are drawn to you, only to back away once they get too close? Why your silence speaks louder than words, and your gaze feels like it sees straight through masks? This isn't a curse, it's your aura. And when it burns with the fire of self-awareness, authenticity, and shadow integration, it disturbs those still hiding from themselves. Carl Jung once said, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are." But he also knew becoming yourself comes at a cost. That cost? Misunderstanding, projection, isolation. The world rewards masks. It celebrates performance. But you? You were born to embody the self, not the ego's illusions, not the persona shaped by culture, but the raw, unfiltered truth of your being. When your aura reflects the wholeness of your inner work, you become a mirror too bright for others to face. Jung called this the confrontation with the shadow, the terrifying process of seeing what we have repressed, and many would rather turn away than look within. So, what happens when your mere existence reminds others of what they haven't yet accepted in themselves? You become magnetic and threatening, loved and avoided, respected and misunderstood. This isn't just energy, it's archetypal. You carry the energy of the seer, the rebel, the healer. And in a world asleep to its own unconscious drives, such power disturbs. But don't dim yourself. Don't shrink to soothe the discomfort of those unwilling to wake up. Because if you're still watching this, I know you've felt it. That invisible tension, that emotional resistance in others. And maybe you've asked, is something wrong with me? No. What's wrong is a world that teaches us to fear what is real. Stay with me, because in this video, we're going to dive into 13 unmistakable signs that your aura is so powerful it shakes others to their core, and why that's not something to apologize for, but something to understand, embrace, and master. There are moments in life when the silence around you grows louder than any noise. Not because you've changed what you say, but because your very presence has changed what others feel. You walk into a room and something stirs. You speak with calm clarity, and yet your words ripple beneath the surface of others like waves disturbing a still lake. Carl Jung taught us that the unconscious is not merely a forgotten memory or a hidden trauma, it is a living force. And when yours is integrated, when your aura reflects your inner alchemy, it disturbs those who are still fragmented. Most people spend their lives dancing with their persona, the carefully crafted image they wear to be loved, accepted, and praised. But the aura of someone who has faced their own abyss, who has looked into the mirror of the shadow and chosen to stay, emits something different. It is not perfection. It is not charisma. It is a quiet intensity, a gravitational field born from wholeness, and that is not something people are taught to welcome. They sense something ancient, something sacred, something they cannot name, and it frightens them. Have you noticed how some people get uncomfortable around you, even when you're doing absolutely nothing? It's not your fault. It's not even personal. Jung would say it's projection. Your light evokes their darkness. Your clarity calls out their confusion. Your soul, which has tasted the fire of transformation, becomes a mirror, one that reveals what others are not yet willing to confront within themselves. And when the mirror is too clear, many will choose to look away. This is the first sign your aura is powerful. You disrupt illusions, not with intention, but with essence. It's as if your energy whispers, there is more to see, more to feel, more to become. And for those still clinging to the safety of the known, of surface-level truths and borrowed beliefs, that message feels like a storm threatening their fragile shelter. You're not being too much. You're being real in a world trained to settle for masks. So, if you've ever felt like your presence creates tension, if you've been told you're intense, intimidating, or hard to figure out, know this: your aura is doing exactly what it was meant to do. You are waking people up, stirring their unconscious, shaking the walls they built to protect themselves from change. Don't run from that gift. Embrace it. Because as we move forward, you'll discover 12 more signs that what you carry inside you is not just rare, it's revolutionary. The second sign reveals itself not in how people treat you publicly, but in what they say when they think you're not listening. Whispers, side glances, the sudden shift in tone when you enter the conversation. Jung believed that what we reject in ourselves, we project onto others, and those with a strong aura often become unwitting containers for these projections. You become the scapegoat, the enigma, the too much that others can't explain but feel compelled to criticize. Not because you've wronged them, but because your very being calls out what they've buried. There's a loneliness that comes with this, a quiet ache of being seen yet not understood. You offer honesty, but it's mistaken for arrogance. You offer presence, but it's labeled as intensity. People love your light until it shines on their darkness, and when that happens, they withdraw, not to hurt you, but to protect themselves from what you reflect. Jung taught that individuation, the path to psychological wholeness, is not widely traveled because it requires courage to break from the collective current. Your aura carries the signature of someone who has dared to walk that path. This emotional distance that others place between you and them, it's not rejection, it's unconscious defense. To them, you are not just a person. You are a symbol, a threat to the false self they've built so carefully. Your eyes seem to see too much. Your silence speaks louder than their noise. Your truths pierce through their narratives. It's not that they dislike you, it's that being around you forces them to confront who they are not yet ready to become. And still, you feel it. The dissonance, the resistance, the invisible walls that rise when you walk in with authenticity. But instead of changing your essence to make others comfortable, what if you held your ground as an invitation? Jung wrote, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." When your aura is powerful, you are that moment of consciousness for others. You are fate's whisper in their ear. So when you begin to notice patterns, people drifting, relationships fading, or social circles tightening when you show up fully, don't shrink. Expand. Because the further you go in your own truth, the more others will either awaken or withdraw. This isn't about being liked, it's about being true. And the ones meant to walk with you will not fear your depth. They will crave it. They will recognize your soul not as a threat, but as a mirror of their own becoming. There is a third sign, one that often appears in moments of stillness, when no one is speaking yet emotions swell in the room. It's the way people seem unsettled by your silence, as if it carries a weight they can't explain. Jung believed that the unconscious speaks not only through dreams and symbols, but through energy, what he called the feeling function. When your aura is charged with inner integration, your very presence becomes a transmitter of unspoken truth. People feel something ancient stirring in you, and it disrupts the fragile comfort of superficial interaction. Have you ever noticed how silence around you becomes more intense? How others fidget, overtalk, or fill the space with meaningless words when you simply are? That's not awkwardness. It's resistance. Your calmness activates the disquiet in others. It brings their inner chaos to the surface because the unconscious hates being ignored. And you, without effort, become the reminder of its presence. Not because you say anything profound, but because you have faced your own unconscious, and that gives your silence a texture most have never known. People often mistake this kind of presence for judgment. They feel seen and confuse that sensation with being evaluated. But Jung understood. What they're truly afraid of is not you. It's the self within them that they've neglected. You become a symbol of what they have not yet faced. The stillness in you calls out the storm in them. You aren't loud. You don't need to be. Your aura has the volume of someone who has wrestled with the depths and returned whole. In a society addicted to speed, noise, and distraction, your stillness is a rebellion. It breaks patterns. It forces reflection. It's a mirror to the parts others spend their lives avoiding. That is why your presence can be so deeply disturbing. It strips away the surface and invites the soul to speak. And most people aren't ready for that kind of conversation, not even with themselves. So they laugh nervously. They change the subject. They look at their phones, anything to escape the call. But don't mistake their discomfort for your failure. It is a sign that your energy is rare. Rare because it is real. Jung once said, "Who looks outside dreams. Who looks inside awakes." You are awake, and your aura, charged by that awakening, acts as a catalyst, stirring the dreams of others into awareness, even if they resist. This is not your burden. It is your sacred role. You are not here to please. You are here to remind. The fourth sign is more subtle, but equally powerful. People seek your guidance. Then resist it. They come to you, drawn to your insight, to the way you seem to know things they haven't even put into words. They feel safe in your presence, seen in your gaze, and somehow lighter when you speak. But then, as soon as you begin to touch the root of their pain, they pull away. Jung knew this pattern well. He wrote that the privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. Yet most would rather repeat the cycle than face the rupture required for transformation. You are not just a good listener. You are a psychological mirror. And mirrors don't always reflect beauty. They reflect truth. That's what your aura does. It draws people in like a warm fire on a winter's night, then shows them what must burn. They crave your presence until it begins to dismantle their illusions. And when it does, they may call you too intense, too deep, or too much. But what they really mean is, I'm not ready to see myself through your eyes. It's a strange experience, isn't it? To be both healer and heretic, to be adored and avoided in the same breath, to be the one people turn to when life unravels, but the one they can't face once you start stitching the threads of truth. But Jung reminded us, true transformation always begins with discomfort. Your aura awakens a process in others they didn't ask for but desperately need. And because you don't just scratch the surface, you excavate, it feels like too much. And still, you must not stop. You must not soften your vision just to be palatable. The world needs depth. It needs the soul's language, spoken not just with words, but with being. Your aura speaks this language fluently. And though many may run from it, the few who stay, they will bloom. You are not here for the many. You are here for the real, the raw, the ready. So when you find yourself surrounded by seekers who retreat just as quickly as they arrive, remember this: your aura doesn't just comfort, it transforms. And transformation, as Jung knew, is not polite. It is sacred chaos. It is divine fire. It is the slow death of the false self and the birth of something ancient and whole. This is the work your energy was made for. Let it do what it came to do. The fifth sign is the way your mere presence seems to break social masks, sometimes without a word. You walk into a room, and suddenly, the carefully curated personas begin to crumble. People become either disarmingly honest or visibly uncomfortable. Why? Because your aura doesn't engage with the persona. It reaches for the self, the hidden core beyond roles, titles, and performances. Carl Jung spoke of the persona as the mask we wear to meet the world, but he also warned, when we over-identify with it, we forget who we truly are. And your energy, without trying, threatens that forgetfulness. You may not even realize it, but you carry a frequency that cuts through performance like a knife through silk. It's not that you're trying to expose anyone, but when someone has spent years living as a facade, your authenticity feels invasive. To them, you are not just a person. You are a spotlight on their shadows, and shadows, when cornered, fight back. This is why you might notice sudden mood shifts in people around you. Laughter that sounds forced. Irritation that appears unprovoked. It's not personal. It's energetic defense. There is an unmistakable tension that follows someone with a powerful aura. It's not loud. It's not dramatic. It's in the subtle cracks that form in superficial conversations when you're present. It's in the truth that slips from someone's lips before they even realize they've said it. Jung taught that the unconscious wants to be made conscious, but that doesn't mean it happens gently. Your energy has become a threshold, a crossing point between who someone pretends to be and who they are called to become. That crossing, for many, feels like danger, because to step beyond the persona is to risk vulnerability. It's to face pain. It's to admit, I don't know who I am without this mask. And yet, despite the fear, something in them leans closer to you, because deep down the soul remembers. It remembers wholeness, and your presence stirs that memory. This is why people often open up to you in ways they've never done before, revealing secrets, traumas, longings, then pulling away, frightened by their own exposure. But you must not interpret that withdrawal as rejection. It is a natural reaction to a deep, energetic encounter. Jung said that one does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. You are not the light that blinds. You are the light that reveals, and that is a rare, sacred force. Not everyone is ready to meet themselves in that reflection, but those who are will never forget what your presence awakened in them. The sixth sign that your aura is powerfully disruptive lies in the silence that follows you. Not the absence of sound, but the weight of presence. You've likely noticed it. When you walk into a room, conversations shift. When you sit beside someone, they pause. There's a tension that lingers, not uncomfortable, but charged, as if your energy is holding up a mirror to everything that was left unsaid. Jung believed that the unconscious communicates in symbols, dreams, and silence, and your aura is fluent in all three. Without needing to speak, you say things others aren't ready to hear. It's not about intimidation, it's about invitation. Your aura invites depth, whether others want it or not. People feel compelled to be more real around you, to drop the trivialities and speak from somewhere deeper. But here's the paradox: that same invitation can be terrifying. Most people are not afraid of you. They are afraid of the parts of themselves that you awaken. They sense, often unconsciously, that if they stay too close to your truth, they might have to face their own. This is why so many relationships in your life feel intense, short-lived, or inexplicably complicated. You're not the kind of person people can keep in their life casually. You demand soul presence, not social performance. And because your energy holds that expectation even without words, it triggers a decision in others: evolve or escape. Jung said that our task is not to become perfect, but to become whole. And wholeness is not for the faint of heart. It requires integration, shadow work, inner death, and rebirth. Your aura is the call to that journey. When you notice that people either deeply trust you or deeply avoid you, understand this. It has little to do with your personality and everything to do with your frequency. You're resonating at a level where truth vibrates louder than comfort. This will always disturb those who have built their lives on pleasing, performing, or pretending. And yet, it is exactly this energy that the world is starving for. Realness, rawness, soul. So do not shrink to fit the room. Do not dilute your presence to protect others from their discomfort. Your silence speaks louder than noise ever could. And in a world addicted to distraction, your stillness is revolutionary. Jung reminded us that the privilege of becoming ourselves comes with the burden of being misunderstood. Carry that burden with grace. Because in the end, it is not about being accepted. It is about being true. And your aura, in all its disruptive brilliance, was made for truth. The seventh sign your aura is powerful enough to disturb others is the way you unknowingly expose inauthenticity. Not through accusation, but through contrast. You don't need to call anyone out. You simply exist in a way that makes pretense unbearable. Carl Jung taught that the path to individuation is the integration of the unconscious with the conscious self. When someone is around you, they feel, often for the first time, that they are split. Their external identity and their internal truth are not in alignment. And your very presence makes that fracture undeniable. This is why some people feel drained around you. Not because you are an energy vampire, but because you require energetic integrity. You are tuned into frequencies that others spend years avoiding. Lies they tell themselves, roles they perform, masks they've grown too comfortable wearing. And when your aura brushes against theirs, those frequencies get disrupted. They can no longer ignore the inner dissonance. It's not that you harm them, it's that you awaken the part of them they've silenced. That's power. And with power comes misunderstanding. You might notice how people either overcompensate around you or become completely transparent. There's rarely a middle ground. That's because you act as a kind of psychic litmus test. People sense that you see beyond the superficial, and it unsettles them. Jung believed that the psyche has a deep instinct for wholeness, even when the ego resists it. So, when someone feels seen by you in a way that strips away their false self, their first reaction is rarely gratitude, it's defense. Because truth, when we're not ready for it, can feel like violence. And yet, your energy is not harsh. It's not judgmental. It's simply clear. Your aura is like a still lake. When people stand beside you, they see their own reflection more vividly. If that reflection is one they've avoided, they may recoil. But if they're ready, they'll be drawn in. They'll crave your presence like oxygen, because something inside them remembers what it means to live authentically, and your existence gives them permission to return to that memory. So don't dim your energy to make others comfortable in their illusions. You were never meant to blend in. You were meant to be a catalyst. Jung wrote that the meeting of two personalities is like the contact of two chemical substances. If there is any reaction, both are transformed. Your aura transforms others not through force, but through resonance. It is not your job to save them, but simply to be. Be the mirror, be the contrast, be the truth that sets them free even if they resist it at first. The eighth sign that your aura is too powerful for the comfort of others is that you carry an inexplicable sense of knowing, an intuitive wisdom that cuts through confusion like a blade through fog. It's not arrogance, it's ancient. Jung referred to this as the emergence of the self, a center deeper than the ego, a place where all opposites converge. When your aura reflects this inner alignment, it emits a kind of psychic clarity, and that clarity unnerves people who depend on complexity to distract themselves from the truth. You've likely been told you're too intense, too deep, or that you read too much into things. But the truth is, you see what others can't or won't. You intuit what's not being said. You sense hidden motives, unresolved pain, and suppressed desires. Your perception doesn't stop at the surface. You feel the emotional geometry of the space around you. And for those who live disconnected from their own inner world, this can be confronting. Your insight isn't welcomed, it's feared. Because in your presence they feel exposed, even when you say nothing at all. This gift, when unmastered, can feel like a curse. You might question yourself, second-guess your impressions, or try to suppress your insight to preserve relationships. But Jung reminds us that he who looks outside dreams, but he who looks inside awakes. Your aura, infused with this inward gaze, does not just awaken you, it nudges others toward their own awakening, whether they're ready or not. That awakening doesn't always look like light. It often starts with discomfort, disorientation, or even rejection. The paradox is that the same people who resist your knowing are often the ones who return to it. After life humbles them, after masks crack, after silence becomes unbearable, they come back to you not for validation, but for clarity. Because in your field, things make sense in a way logic never could. You offer them a glimpse of what Jung called the symbolic life, a life in which meaning is not manufactured but remembered, where truth is not argued but felt. So hold your knowing with reverence. Not all truths are meant to be spoken, but all truths must be carried. You are not here to convince, you are here to embody. And as your aura grows in alignment with yourself, your mere presence will activate others, even those who do not understand why they feel so drawn or so shaken. This is the sacred responsibility of someone whose soul has been through the fire and emerged luminous. You are the light they can't ignore, and the shadow they cannot escape. The ninth sign that your aura is so powerful it can disturb others lies in your unshakable presence, a stillness that speaks louder than noise, a calm that disrupts the chaos in those who rely on distraction to avoid themselves. Carl Jung wrote that the privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. When you live from that place of inner truth, your energy doesn't demand attention, it commands it. Not through volume or force, but through gravity. People feel it in the space between your words, in the way you observe instead of react, in how you listen, not just to what is said, but to what is meant. This kind of presence is rare and deeply disorienting to those who have built their identities on masks, roles, and noise. You become a threat without trying. Your stillness mirrors their restlessness. Your depth reveals their shallowness. You show them what it looks like to be home in your own skin, and that unsettles those who are perpetually running from themselves. They may project, attack, or ghost you, not because you did anything wrong, but because your being interrupts their survival strategy. In Jungian terms, your presence activates the unconscious material of others. Without even trying, you invite people to confront their shadow, the parts of themselves they've disowned. You trigger this not through confrontation, but through contrast. You carry an inner wholeness that whispers to the fragmented parts of others, "You don't belong here." And while some will lean in, eager to integrate those parts and become whole themselves, others will retreat in fear, clinging to their constructed selves like lifeboats in a storm they don't yet understand. But this disturbance you create is not destruction, it is invitation. Your presence, steeped in integrity and self-awareness, becomes a kind of energetic portal. It says there's another way to live. One that is quiet but not hollow, powerful but not forceful, awake but not performative. This way of being cannot be taught. It must be remembered. And you, just by being who you are, help others remember, even when they resist. Especially when they resist. So do not shrink. Do not dilute your stillness to match the noise. The world is full of echoes, but your soul is a tone. And that tone cuts through illusion like lightning through the sky. It may disturb, but it also awakens. It may shake, but it also heals. Because when someone truly sees you, not the mask, but the essence, they're not just seeing you. They're catching a glimpse of what's possible within themselves. And that changes everything. The 10th and final sign that your aura is powerful enough to disturb others is the overwhelming sense of unspoken truth that you carry with you. Truths that don't need words, but simply exist. Jung believed that the psyche is constantly striving for integration, seeking to align the conscious with the unconscious. And when you walk into a room, people feel the unspoken truths you embody, whether they're prepared for them or not. You don't speak them aloud. You live them. You express them with every step you take, every glance you share. Your very being is an affirmation of things they've been avoiding, truths they've been denying, and realities they've yet to accept. It's not that you go around trying to wake people up, but when your aura is so aligned with your deeper self, it's like you carry the energy of revelation. Whether it's the truth of who they really are, the reality of their current situation, or the unacknowledged emotions that lie dormant inside, your presence forces them to confront things they've kept hidden. And for many, that confrontation is uncomfortable. We all have aspects of ourselves we'd rather not face. But Jung's work reminds us that only through facing the unconscious can we grow. Only through confronting the truth can we truly integrate our shadow and become whole. This unspoken truth, this energetic knowing, has the power to shift dynamics in an instant. It's why you've probably experienced moments where people suddenly open up to you, sharing their deepest fears, their hidden pains, or their most profound desires, without you ever asking. It's not because you're asking for it, it's because your energy has made it impossible to remain in the dark. Your aura has pulled the veil back, allowing others to see what they were too afraid to admit, even to themselves. But here's the paradox: as much as your truth disrupts, it also liberates. The truth you carry with you is not meant to hurt, it's meant to heal. It's meant to free those who are trapped in their own illusions, who are bound by their own fears. When people encounter your aura, they're reminded of what it feels like to live authentically. They may not be ready to accept it, but deep down, they crave it. And in that craving, there is an invitation to a deeper way of being. The kind of being that transcends fear, transcends illusion, and transcends the ego's endless games. So walk with your unspoken truths proudly. Let your aura speak louder than your words. You're not here to conform. You are not here to fit into a world that seeks to keep people small. You are here to disturb, to awaken, and to lead others into the power of their own authenticity. You are here to remind them of who they truly are, no matter how much they may resist. And in that reminder, you create space for transformation. The kind of transformation that comes only from confronting the deepest, most unspoken truths of who we are. And that is the gift of a truly powerful aura. As you sit with the truths shared in this video, I want you to pause for a moment. Reflect. Breathe. What does it mean to have an aura so powerful that it disrupts others? To carry an energy that can stir the deepest corners of their subconscious, awaken long-buried truths, and challenge everything they thought they knew about themselves. You see, your aura is not just a reflection of your essence, it's a catalyst for transformation. It is a force that, once fully realized, doesn't just shape your life, but reshapes the lives of those who encounter it. But here's the deeper question. Are you ready to embrace the power of your own aura? To stand unwavering in the face of resistance and discomfort? It's easy to shrink. It's easy to hide in the shadows of others, to conform to their expectations and suppress the raw power within you. But you were not born to blend in. You were born to stand out, to disrupt the status quo, to be the light that others are both drawn to and, at times, afraid of. Your aura is not a curse. It is your calling, your gift to the world, and its strength is a sign that you are on the right path. Yet, with this power comes responsibility. The more you embody this strength, the more you will be asked to hold space for others, those who will resist, those who will question, and even those who will project their own insecurities onto you. But as Carl Jung wisely said, you are what you do, not what you say you'll do. Your energy will do the talking long after your words have fallen silent. Let it speak truth, let it speak clarity, and most importantly, let it speak from a place of love and authenticity. Because when you live fully in your own power, you give others permission to do the same. Now, I want you to imagine this. What could your life look like if you stepped fully into this power? If you allowed your aura to be a living testament to your authenticity, to your depth, and to your unwavering truth? What if you could walk through the world not in fear of disturbing others, but knowing that your presence is exactly what this world needs? This is not a call to be loud or forceful. It is a call to be unapologetically you, to walk with a quiet confidence that reverberates through the spaces you enter, shifting the energy without a word, simply by existing. So, I leave you with this. Your aura is not just a reflection of who you are. It is a reflection of who you are becoming. Every time you step into your power, you push the boundaries of what's possible for yourself and for those around you. It is a ripple effect that will continue to unfold as long as you remain true to yourself. And so, I challenge you, embrace your aura. Walk with it proudly. Let it disturb, let it disrupt, and let it awaken others. Because you are not here to live quietly in the background. You are here to leave a mark on this world, one that will echo long after you're gone. If this message resonated with you, if you feel that spark of recognition deep within, take a moment to like this video, share it with those who need to hear it, and comment below with your thoughts. What does it mean to you to step fully into your own aura? And don't forget to subscribe for more transformative content. Together, we are awakening to our truest selves.